Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Tim Hankowich. Hi, Tim. Welcome.
Hi. Good to be here.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
have you
having
back.
me. Yeah.
Hey, before we dive into the next concert, I really got to revisit the former concert because I am still mentally mulling over Seven Last Words of the Unarmed.
Yeah, that was a really powerful concert, wasn't it? You know, I was just off air. We were talking how art only gets you. I mean, entertainment only gets you so far, and then art takes you that extra mile. And you know, the pieces so informed each other because sometimes we thought about Beethoven 9. Yeah, we've heard it, but we've forgotten its meaning. And when you pair it with a piece like the Seven Last Words of the Unarmed, all of a sudden, oh. Right. This is what art is really supposed to do. And the fact that so many people are still thinking about it, still talking about it, means we've done our job.
Yeah, definitely. And what a great opportunity also to get to hear him talk and meet Joel Thompson, the composer. And get to hear this, not only this, you know, what he was doing when he composed it, but also some of the struggles that he has had in getting it out there.
Right. To hear a personal story behind the scenes, behind the art. I mean, obviously classical musicians, we play music mostly by people who have long since been gone.
We don't get to hear Beethoven talk about what he was
call
thinking
him up on
about.
the phone.
Yeah,
yeah exactly. But so to have a composer like him, like Joel, to come in, and by the way, it was a very spur of the last minute. I mean, it just spur of the moment. He came in and wow, it just really made the whole experience that much more powerful.
Did he enjoy it? I guess.
Oh my goodness!
I never asked. I assume.
I think the Midwest was the last place he'd expected this piece to be performed, and I think he was so gratified. And his last words to me were, "You know what? I need to come back to Iowa." And I said, "Yeah, you do.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
Anytime." Tim's got a spare bedroom.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, okay, moving on.
Yes.
It's, kind of at the opposite end
What
of the spectrum.
What a pivot we're about
to
make, yeah.
But I've been looking forward to the Queen show, kind of a reprise of something you did, 12 years ago, something like that?
So literally, it was the last, this Queen show was the last performance we did at the Cellular Center before it shut down right after, in the aftermath of the flood, before it was refurbished. So this was the last concert to host it. And so how many years later? Yeah, around 14, 15 years later, here we are again. And it's such a great show. It's a rock show. And one thing that I have difficulty explaining to people when we said, well, it's the music of Queen with symphony orchestra. There's a lot of people with misconceptions and sometimes prejudices of what a symphony orchestra should or shouldn't do. And so a lot of people who haven't attended one of these rock concerts probably in their mind's eye are thinking, well, it's the symphony playing arrangements of Queen melodies for symphony orchestra. You know, it sound like Muzak, ho-hum. That is not what we are doing. We are pairing up with this company called Genes and Classics. They're a company out of Canada. And what they do is they're a cover band. And they come in and they cover the guitar and the drums and the vocals, and they reproduce, in this case, the music of Queen faithfully from the recordings. Now it is just bolstered by symphony orchestra, and I must say, 80 voices from Kirkwood College. So you're going to have a whole huge forces on stage singing and yelling and screaming Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, it's going to be such a blast.
In a lot of ways, a show like this emulates the listening experience you get from listening to the original recordings more than a rock show. Because as big as Queen was, and they were, even in their heyday, when they were huge, they did not tour with a full orchestra and chorus.
Correct.
It was generally those four guys and a really talented synthesizer operator.
Absolutely. But let's not forget that even Freddie Mercury said, you know, I want my music to be operatic. I want it to be larger than life. And so even the way he was writing for synthesizer and all that other stuff, it was of a canvas much larger than most groups at the time were doing. And so it lends itself very well to an extra chorus behind singing Bohemian Rhapsody and also orchestra playing, because it is this sort of larger than life symphonic experience that they were doing back then.
Actually, I have done Queen wrong, because their big thing when they were doing their records, especially early on, was they did not use synthesizers.
True that.
It says
they were purists. Even on the album, it said no electronic sounds.
Right. So Queen fans, please don't
no
at
letters,
me.
no calls. Yeah.
But this is an opportunity to hear it really as
as great
Freddie
concert
and
music.
Brian and all those guys heard it in their heads
That's
when they were composing it.
And I mean, the band that we have playing all this, they're so talented. The vocalists are fabulous. The guitar player is like, oh my God, nailing all those solos. But let me just give you a rundown of some of the hits that you can expect, because yeah, all of the great ones are going to be there, whether it's Killer Queen or You're My Best Friend, Another One Bites the Dust, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Flash, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, Bicycle Race, my favorite, Fat Bottom Girls. So...
Okay, all right. Again,
yeah.
Please no emails.
That's just the title of the song. Yeah. So, any of you Queen fans out there, you want to come to this show. There's a lot of clone bands out there, especially in the wake of that fabulous movie that came out, was it 2 years ago?
Which I have seen, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. So there's a lot of these kind of acts out there. I have to say, I've seen and heard many of them, and they're not that great. This one is awesome, and so I hope to see a lot of people headbanging out there for Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's what I remember from 2009, is that the band was just top notch and
Yeah.
faithfully reproduced everything.
Oh, yeah.
And and it did feel very much like hearing Queen.
Yeah, well, that's what they do,
Definitely.
and it's really great to have the orchestra behind them, and the orchestra has a great time too. I mean, it's so much of what we do requires such intense rehearsal and such preparation, and this isn't different, but it is a different direction so that people can relax a little bit and just have fun. So you're going to see an orchestra on stage singing along too. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When you do the shows that is the orchestra synced to a movie,
Yeah.
where you provide the movie soundtrack, again, something looks really easy, but I know that you as the director are, there's time cues. You're watching a clock. You're watching
I'm
the score.
sweating bullets.
You've got all of this stuff. What about with this show? Is this what? Again, you've got a few extra balls in the air, but is there anything about this that is unique to this kind of show?
Absolutely. So I think you touched on two things that two of the coolest things that we do that people sometimes don't quite understand. One is this rock show that we're doing, which features a cover band and we're their backup. And the other is with live film. And when I say live film, we present the film, and the sound effects and the dialogue is there. It's just that the orchestra is providing the music in real time, and just like they would do in the studio right before the movie is ultimately released. What is really difficult about a rock show like this? Sometimes the orchestra starts the music. Now, if I get the tempo wrong, everybody in the hall knows. So if I take a Beethoven symphony too fast or too slow, people might say, "Oh, interesting interpretation." No, not in this case. I miss by a couple clicks. They go, "Oh, Hankiewicz doesn't know the song."
That's right.
And
Yeah,
this
if
is
Killer Queen starts off too slow,
Oh, yeah.
we all know who's responsible.
Exactly right. And so it's really, really crucial that you know this stuff inside and out.
It's Queen with Orchestra Iowa coming up May 7th, Saturday night. One show only.
One show only, so be there. Dress in your favorite 80s gear, and I want to hear you sing loud and proud.
Plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to sing along with one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time and one of the all-time great symphonies. This Saturday night, tickets still available, correct?
Correct, yes. You can call the box office at 1-800-369-TUNE, T-U-N-E, or go online for a ticket at orchestraiowa.org or artsiowa.com.
All right, well, you're going to wrap up the season here in a few weeks. Come back in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about the final concert.
We'll see you then.
Thanks, Tim.
Cheers.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.